morning, family. My name is Ron, and I want to say welcome to the Philadelphia International Christian Church Sunday service. Now, I have a question for y'all. When you think of the 4th of July, what comes to mind for you? I heard fireworks. Barbecue, that's right. What else I heard? Family. Freedom, there we go. Yeah, freedom, family, hamburgers. If you like hot dogs, hot dogs. Yes. You know, yesterday was the semi-quincentennial. That's a fancy word for the 250th year anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, the beginning of a new nation. And amazingly, the Bible also tells a story of the birth of a new nation, ancient Israel. But instead of people fighting for their freedom, it was God fighting for their freedom. So because it's the 250th year, I was thinking, okay, well, what can I find? What will I find if I turn to the 250th page of my Bible? And it took me, in my reader's Bible, it took me to Deuteronomy. Now, what's cool is in Deuteronomy is Moses, God speaking through Moses, is reminding the people about their history. The same way that on the 4th of July, we come to remember our history here in America. And so let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 9. So Moses was telling the people that God, the God who created heavens and earth, freed them from slavery in Egypt. He brought them with mighty hand and outstretched arm through the Red Sea, or Sea of Reeds, and he took them to this mountain where God declared his unfailing love for his people and made a covenant with them. He said, I am your God who freed you from Egypt. Rule number 1, don't worship any other gods, not before me, not behind me, not beside me. And rule number 2, don't make any idols. Don't make any false gods. So here in Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 7, Moses says, remember this and never forget how you aroused the anger of the Lord your God in the wilderness. From the day you left Egypt until you arrived here, you have been rebellious against the Lord. Go to verse 16. When I looked, I saw that you had sinned against the Lord your God. You had made for yourselves an idol cast in the shape of a calf. You had turned aside quickly from the way that the Lord had commanded you. They broke rule number 1 and rule number 2. And it wasn't even 2 months since they entered that relationship with God. Y'all might be wondering, Ron, why are you reading this? This ain't very welcoming. That's a bummer. I have a better question. Why is it in the Bible? The Declaration of Independence says, we found these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. And I got to be honest, I can't even say that without thinking about the fact that throughout history, our nation actually failed to live up to that statement. But you know, just as America had its low points, its dark times, and even questionable moments, maybe even still today, so did the ancient Israelites. And just like G said here, they never forgot. They didn't try to hide it. They didn't try to ignore it, but rather they embraced it as part of their story. But they didn't let it define them either. Why? Because it was never about them, but it was about God, the God who chose them. Yahweh, the compassionate and gracious God, slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness, maintaining love to how many generations? 1,000 generations. 250 years ain't got nothing on the love of our God. And so the Israelites embraced their story. And not just that, but because they embraced their story, that story became the Word of God. Because they embraced their story, we got the Messiah, Jesus Christ, who we worship here today. And because of that, we actually got to be grafted into that tree, adopted into the family of God, where their history became our history, their legacy became our legacy, and now we get to worship the same God who does incredible things because his love endures forever. And so I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to worship. Because of those who've gone before me, I can stand here and sit here in the same room as people who don't look like me. That's incredible. And so with that, let's worship God with all our hearts, with all our mind, all our soul, all our strength. And with that, I want to welcome you to the Philadelphia International Christian Church Sunday service.